Oh, here we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Eugene Honrath with Shadow Warriors, and I've got Dustin Driver from Driver Defense here with me today. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. Can't really complain.
Yeah, well, hopefully this one goes good. We had another taping that went a little awry in terms of the internet, so we're trying again on this. I appreciate you spending the time with me. So, tell me a little bit about Driver Defense, who you are, where you're from, or where you're at now, and then what you produce, and then we'll kind of get into your story and where it came from and all that kind of stuff.
So basically, Driver Defense is just basically my hobby knife company, I guess you'd call it. So I don't do this full time. It's just a hobby for me. And I mainly do tactical style knives and folders. I've started getting more into kitchen knives some too. And I'll do a little bit of other EDC stuff like pry bars and nuts every once in a while. But for the most part, it's knives.
And don't forget the beef jerky and the t-shirt.
Yeah, we do jerky, and I get some pretty cool designs made and stuff. I make some, and I have some made. I make shirts, make beef jerky.
Good beef jerky at that.
Oh, it's probably the best beef jerky you'll ever have.
I think beef jerky is one of those things that people's idea of beef jerky is like the store-bought stuff that's generally like, it's a combination of like rubbery,
a processed taste,
chemical like taste. I think that it's kind of weird, but yours, not to like blow your head up or anything, but it actually tastes like meat. I haven't had, what's the hot one, that like the super hot one you have?
Well, the hot one that I make that we sell regularly is called bubonic. It's not crazy hot, but I do a Dante's Inferno challenge, and it goes up to 9 million Scoville, so it's pretty hot.
Yeah, no, there's no way that I listen. I'm a hot. I don't know if anyone can relate to this. I'm a hot Taco Bell kind of guy. Like the hot sauce at Taco Bell, I think that's flavorful. I think there's a little bit of heat. Good, done. Anything past that just gets a little too wild for me.
Yeah, but I don't like real hot. I like about maybe like
What's like your favorite hot sauce?
Oh, my favorite hot sauce is probably this stuff called truff. It's not real hot though, but it's got like a black truffle in it. It's pretty good. I like it. Some people don't, but I like it.
Wait, so where did the beef jerky kind of come in? Like, just like you guys had always done it before and you just tried it, or
I used to make it all the time, and then like everybody at work wanted to make it for them, and then I just started making it more, and then one day I put it on the page and people wanted to buy it, and then it just kind of expanded from there.
How has that been with like COVID and all that kind of stuff? When's the last time that you guys made some of that? Because I haven't seen that. Have I just missed it, or I just haven't seen it in a little while?
I guess you miss it because I guess like with Facebook, I guess people don't see stuff because we make it about twice a month.
Twice a month?
Yeah, usually around twice a month. We buy about 100 pounds of meat. So about 200 pounds of meat in the jerky a month. COVID kind of slowed it down a little bit because it was harder to get meat, and prices went up, so we had to raise our prices a little bit. We used to do about $10 a bag or $12.50 a bag shipped. And then COVID came along, and prices on beef just went crazy.
Well, I mean, it was how many ounces is that?
It's a quarter pound.
I mean,
it's a good amount of jerky.
Yeah, I was going to say comparatively in terms of like, because a lot of people are going to compare it to like store-bought. I thought it was a good value at what it was, no less what it is now.
Yeah, I know we sell, I think it's $13 a bag. And if we do more than 4 bags, we give a free shipping. So it's less than that.
Nice. So tell me, I like getting into the shirts. I think shirts are an incredible way to market your company, and then also a good way to give a piece, let someone buy a piece of your company at a really low end. You know what I mean? Like some guys, girls, whatever, customers in general, I think are hesitant sometimes, especially when they're buying something that's more than they're comfortable with, even if they have the money, 100, 2, 3, 4, $500. And I think the t-shirt gives them a taste of you and how you do things, and then a taste of your production quality. I mean, you pick nice shirts. All the shirts that I have lasted. Why did you, so you guys produce these at home?
Yes. So first, when we first started, I was doing like the vinyl stuff, but I don't like vinyl shirts. They end up breaking, cracking, breaking.
Yep.
So I bought a little screen print press, and I started screen printing them. Uh, most of
That's amazing.
Most of the early designs, like when you got on, I did myself. And I made my logo myself originally, and then I put little skulls in that one and stuff. And but then like this shirt right here, the Anubis one,
Yeah, yeah.
I've had graphic designers make the designs for those, just partially because I don't have time to mess with it.
I mean, that they did good. That's it's hard to integrate, take a stock or an image and then put something custom inside of it and make it all flow together.
Well, actually, the image right here, I added the driver defense to the image after the fact.
But the knives, you mean?
No, so this image is completely custom. The graphic
Okay.
designer, graphic designer, it's Chris Elowick. You know him?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Can't think of his company name, YDE or something, Yellow D Energy.
Nice.
He does a lot of flashlights.
Oh, yeah. He was just on, he just posted on Shadow Wars for the first time the other day. And that's impressive. I think doing shirts is a great idea. Why did you guys choose? Now this is just me kind of on the business side. Why did you guys choose to make them versus have someone else make them?
I'm cheap.
Okay.
I like to, so if I can make a shirt for probably about, say, I buy them in bulk, I can make them for probably like $10 a piece, like everything said. So if I sell them for $20, I mean, after shipping, I'm still making some money and people are getting them for a decent price. Whereas a lot of places you get them made, they cost $15 unless you buy a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
So then it's just a better value for my customers.
That's
and I can buy quality shirts. So like I've started buying that's probably a Gildan. This is
I think so. Next Level
and Bella Canvas. So I started buying Next Level and Bella Canvas. And those shirts are actually more like $7, $8 a piece. So I gotta go a little bit higher in prices,
but I think t-shirts are a great way. So
the way I look at it is I guess the camera's messed up again. A lot of knife makers try to make knives, but they don't understand there's other parts of business besides just making knives. And I'm not saying I'm great at it either, but you need to market yourself.
No, I think so too. I think it gives people, like I said, it gives people a 20, let's say under $50 in, and it gives them an in to get a part of your company, as opposed to having to buy a knife to test it out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How many knives did you make before you felt? Well, you showed the first one before you sold your first one.
I probably made about, I guess it's probably about 10 knives. And then that first one I sold was to a friend and I sold it for $50.
Yeah.
That wasn't a great knife or anything. I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I mean,
did it have like, what kind of handles on it or scales did it have?
So it had solid brass handles. It was heavy.
Okay.
It was a small knife. It was like a Warncliffe.
Yeah.
It's just Warncliffe that's kind of like curved a little bit forward.
Yeah.
And I did like some texturing on the handle. And it was just a flat grind.
Nice.
When I first started, my logo was basically just a spade with a D in it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did on that knife. And I did that for a while. And then I finally I kept on adapting, like changing that, and I added my whole name and everything to it.
How did you go? Is that when you like felt more confident with your knives that you added the whole driver and driver defense?
No, it was just an evolution of the design. I
Oh, okay.
just changed it and kept on changing. And part of the reason I did the first thing was like as far as getting the logo done,
Yeah.
I had those made from somebody else and learning how to do those because I used a vinyl cutter for a long time for my logo for etching it.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to get that. And then I got a vinyl cutter. And I messed with that and got my logo where I could do the whole name, and it just an evolution.
Oh, gotcha. So how did you learn how to make knives? Not to go backwards, but how did you learn? I mean, I think that it's such a wide swath of when you talk to knife makers of how they got into it and how they actually learned. How did you learn a bulk of what you know? Because I mean, I would say that you know a lot about knife making and you've wanted to educate yourself and move forward. So how did you learn all that?
Mainly YouTube. That's where I started off. YouTube, and then books, then internet. I mean, Facebook's got a lot of groups for learning knife making. Then a little bit of talking to other makers,
Okay.
but for the most part, it's YouTube and Facebook.
Are there any knife makers that kind of like stood out of guys that you asked or you learned things from that were really helpful in learning?
So mainly the only person who I ever like really contacted to actually learn was Matt Christensen.
Okay.
When I first started folders and stuff, I'd ask him questions, which I actually, well, I guess I'd say Ecom Knives, not because I talked to him personally or anything, but he has a YouTube video, a
Yep.
YouTube channel, and he had a how to make a frame lock folder series, and that's what I used for my when I first started making folders. And
Why did you, I mean, we're talking about folders. What, it seems like you either have fixed blade guys, fixed fixed and then they kind of get bored with that so they move to folders or just folder guys, like they'll do like one or two fixed blades when they're first starting off, but then they jump right to folders. Why did you go from fixed blades to folders?
I just think it's like a national evolution. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna start with fixed blades because it's more simple design, and then you want to keep on getting better. So you're like, oh well. And then obviously I carry folders a lot more than the other ones, and so that's why I
Sure.
usually carry as opposed to fixed blades. And so I make what I want to keep. Like I make what I want for myself mainly. And just fortunately, a lot of what I like for myself, other people like. Seems like.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So
basically,
you go ahead.
so basically, just like I want to keep on learning, and well, you can keep on learning on doing different stuff with fixed blades. Jump into folders is a much steeper learning curve.
Yeah.
Like once you go from fixed blades to like doing a hidden tank fixed blade, yeah, it's more learning, but it's not like going from a fixed blade to a folder. It's a completely different. So you're learning more skill sets.
Yeah. Which one do you like making better?
It just depends on what the day. Some days I want to make a fixed blade. Some days I want to make a folder.
Ah, gotcha. What do you still have your first folder? Like, are you sentimental to that first folder that you made?
Sentimental, no. Is it a piece of shit? Yes. So I couldn't sell it or anything. I mean, I wouldn't sell it because it was my first one. So I had to keep it for that reason, just so I could look back and be like, oh, this is my first one and it sucked.
Yeah,
This is my this is
this
my
is where
most
I came from.
this is my most recent one, and I'm sure in 5 years I'll think it sucks.
Yeah, let me see. You got a folder there?
Well, this is my personal one. It's not my most recent or anything. This is my personal one.
Nice. What so did you start off with just like discs, or did you go to bearings, or like were your first was your like your first folder that you made, was it really like elementary, didn't have any of the advanced, like a lock bar, like any of the more complicated stuff, or was just like really basic?
Now we can walk and get it. It was
we're gonna see the first folder you ever made.
Yeah, it's a frame lock folder with, on bearings. I might have raked some stuff off of it since then, so I don't know if it's completely intact right now.
We're going out to the shop. Oh man, we're getting an exclusive look into the shop.
I have to be quick. My alarm's inside. So you got a bunch of alarms, so I need to be in there in case the alarm goes off. Mess, I haven't cleaned.
Probably switching over to cell. You got internet in your shop?
No, but my house is, it'll reach out here. See if there's anything else to grab out here. Grab some of these I'm working on.
It's a pretty big shop, man.
So it's a 30 by 40. Well, the inside's actually 30 by 30. And I've got a 10-foot overhang over there that I have some.
Giveaway knife.
All right.
So we get to see. So you get to see your first one ever you ever made. Oh man.
This is the first one I ever made. First folder. It actually used to have pivot collars, but I took those out and used them for something else.
Hey man, I mean I like the aesthetics. I think it looks
The lock bar pretty much goes all the way over.
Wow.
Then so the design, it closes this far for the decant hits.
Oh, okay.
So it's for my first one, I was proud of it.
I think it looks good for your first one. I mean, I think the mechanics of a knife is where you really fine tune stuff. That's awesome. How long? So how long did it take you to like figure out the mechanisms? Because it's a lot more exact than a fixed blade or most fixed blades. How long did it take you to from start to finish that knife?
I don't remember. It's really not that. Well, so it's not a lot different. In some ways, it's not different. The main thing with a folder is you need to keep your stuff flat.
Yeah.
If you have like stuff that's not flat, it's not going to operate right.
Yeah.
So if
but it doesn't you don't remember it taking you like an ungodly amount of time?
No, I can't remember how long it took me. I'm sure it took me way longer than it takes me now.
Yeah.
But it was more of a learning process. So I was learning while I was doing it.
Yeah. What kind of materials do you work with now, both on the fixed side as well as the folder side?
So the majority of my blades, I'll do for high carbon, I do 1095.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do W2.
Okay.
And then my main stainless steels I use is S35BN, Nitro V. And then kitchen knives, I use a lot AEBL.
Okay. Nice. And do you handle all of your steel in terms of like heat treat and all that there at your shop?
Yes, I heat treat my own steel. I do everything in house for the most part. The only thing I don't do in house is I get stuff water jet sometimes.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
I do have
I was going to say, I think that the whole thing, the whole discussion between taking a grinder and cutting out the shape versus water jet, to me, it's null and void. I think it doesn't mean much of anything. Handmade's handmade. I think it's in the execution past that, especially with fixed blades, fit, finish, um, and then the heat treat. I think are the kind of two top things for me.
Yeah, so obviously heat treat is one of the most important things. If you ain't got something that's heat treated, it's not gonna
Yep,
cut, it's not gonna edge, it's gonna be a piece of shit. It's gonna
true.
be like it'll just look like a knife and it won't perform at all.
Yeah.
And fit and finish, I mean, with the way you see knives these days, fit and finish isn't really that important. It don't seem like to a lot of people.
Well, the one thing that I've realized over the past few years,
Personally, like I don't do like real high quality fit and finish. I don't do like this one I'm pretty much finished with.
is that recent? Well, I mean, I can tell just from this one, this one we said this one was what, three? This is the giveaway knife. 3 years ago.
Yeah, I imagine it's around 3 or so years ago.
I mean, I think my level of fit and finish, I guess I just look at things. I'm not necessarily sure that there is a perfect. I mean, I'm sure there is a perfect, but I think there's a point where that perfection gets probably really time consuming. But I mean, this passed all my skin or all sniff tests in terms of, grinds and plunge lines and being symmetrical on both sides and that kind of stuff. But you would probably pick this apart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As far as fit and finish goes, like you have some like the art style knives. The fit and finish is really high quality. Some of mine is I do what I consider like clean work. It's clean fit and finish. It's not like polished usually or anything like that. Like real high end fit and finish.
Yeah, like pretty symmetrical on both sides. Down the spine, everything. This grind. I mean, if you want to really, I can't even. I mean, it's what I mean, like that kind of stuff is. I mean, this would pass all my fish. If I bought when I bought this, and I looked it over, I had no qualms about it. But some knives, and I really learned that in the $150 build-off knives that the maker would send in, they looked
that build
really
off.
well.
That build off. That build off that I won.
Huh?
That build off that I won.
Yes, the build off that you won. I was gonna say that, but what I'm saying is the knives would look really good in the pictures that the maker would take. And I'm not saying that they were bad, but the knife didn't look exactly like what it was when I got it in hand. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is I mean, it's just like the pictures. You can be really good at taking pictures, but then the quality of the knife just isn't there,
I agree. Like I bought knives that I got, and I was surprised by how like uneven the plunge lines were and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, that's hard to do. It's to get a good even plunge line is one of the harder things to do, in my opinion, for a knife. But
I think it's I think that if you get to a point where and it's not even a money thing, because I know makers like yourself, and I can name a couple other makers that aren't expensive knives, but have really good fit and finish. And I have seen some expensive knives that don't have as good fit and finish. Do you take a lot of time to make sure that every knife that leaves your shop is up to a certain quality?
yes, if my knives don't meet my quality, they're not going to go out. Now, my quality is more of a work grade quality,
right?
For the most part. It's not going to be polished or anything for the most part. Every once in a while, I'll do something like that, but it's not going to be a high end finish.
Yeah.
It's going to be a finish that you get a good, it's going to do the job. It's going to look good. But if you sit there and get real close in it, you'll see flaws. I mean, there's obviously going to be flaws like the jimping on this right here. Like it's not perfectly even, but I mean,
Is that the one you're currently carrying?
and this is my personal. So I don't really keep very many of my knives, mainly because the demand's so high. And then there's nothing wrong with this knife. I would sell it, but I made it. So usually when I make a knife for myself, I'll post pictures of it and people will try to buy it. So this one I just posted pictures and said it wasn't for sale and I haven't sold it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe one day I'll sell it.
I'm one of the guys that probably would buy a knife like that you use on a daily basis, because I think it's like it's almost like a piece of you. So
Yeah.
well, so tell me about, so do you have set, now we're going to include all your social media and your website and that kind of stuff. Do you have a set line of knives that you make, or how does the like the models go, or you just make whatever you have?
So for me, I basically just make what I want to when I want to, for the most part. Do have like sometimes I'll do small runs, like 4 or 5 knives of the same design. But for the most part, I just go to the shop and if I want to make something, I'll make it. I
Yeah.
have like a custom order list. And that list, I slowly go down. It's more like a wish list. You get on the list. When I get to you, I'll make you a full custom, whatever you want. But for the most part, I just do what I want to.
But you don't take any like deposits or anything like that?
I don't take a deposit. Now, when I get to you, if it's like some kind of fancy knife, you want dragon skin Damascus and you want it all customized, I'm going to take a deposit when I start the build, but I'm
Yep.
not going to take one. Like if you put an order in right now, it's going to be at least 3 years before I get to you.
Okay.
And I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you need to give me half the money down right now. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. How long,
Basically,
when you start a knife, how long does it take you to finish it?
uh, most of my knives are probably about 8 to 12 hours well, I'd say for a folder, it's probably about 10 to 20 hours. And for a fixed blade, it's probably between 6 and 10 hours.
Well, but if you come to me on the list right now and I tell you what I want, how long does it usually take you to get my knife done? Do you get that like done right away, or do you kind of just work on a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here?
Yeah, a little bit here. Sometimes I'll knock them out real quick,
Okay.
but like I've been working on this one right here. I probably started on it like a month and a half ago,
Okay.
and I'm kind of
Well,
finishing up. But Blade Show was in between then and stuff, and
how did Blade Show go for you this year?
so I sold out the second day early in the morning. I took
So
about 27 knives.
so Blade Show is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yes.
You started on Friday. You sold out at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, around 10 or 11 on Saturday.
How many knives did you have?
About 27, I think it was. 27 or 28.
How many fixed and how many folders?
I think it was around 16 or 17 fixed blades and like 10 folders. Or no, reverse that. 16 or 17 folders and 10 fixed blades or so.
That's pretty good, man. What so did the guys or girls, that the customers that came, did you did you know all of them, or did you sell to any new customers that kind of like were just walking by?
So a lot of the people were people who knew me. Like my wife actually posted some online, so some sold that way too.
Okay.
So they sold that online to people and they got mailed out afterwards, which allowed me to keep knives on my table for people to see the whole show.
Oh, okay.
And then I had new people come to and buy knives. And if I wouldn't have sold them online, people couldn't have sold the knives.
Yeah.
But I think I was still sold out because I still had people trying to buy the knives that were on the table all the time.
Oh, gotcha. The ones that had already been bought online.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Um, uh, on the fixed blades, what are your blades range in terms of like lowish to highish money wise?
I'd say, I mean, I can't really say exactly.
On average,
The
not the
highest,
crazy dragon skin Damascus or anything like that.
like just a basic knife like this.
Yeah. I love how you call
The
it
high,
basic, but yeah,
well, this is a basic knife for me.
for
It's
you.
a pretty standard knife.
And what's that
This is
model called?
this is an ambush, a full tang ambush. So one of my most popular models is probably my ambush design, and I do a fixed blades of it, and I do folders of it. So I do a full tang version of it, I do hidden tang versions of it, and I do the folder version of it.
What is that? What's that generally cost?
Right
Guesstimation.
here, this right here would be like around 350.
Okay. And that comes with a Kydex sheath, or do you do leather too?
I do Kydex sheaths, so Kydex sheaths, just,
That snap.
yeah. And I do multi clips on my sheaths these days usually.
Oh, nice. That makes it versatile.
Yeah. So something like that, it's around 350.
What's the lowest or the smallest like denominator? Like, what's the lowest knife that you make in terms of money wise?
I'll make some little scaleless ones that are kind of like Kiridashi size. They're around
Uh-huh.
$75.
Okay.
So without scales. Uh,
What was that one that looked like almost like a butter knife?
oh, that was my tactical butter knife.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you made
Yeah.
any of those recently?
I haven't. I have a couple started. Uh, I have a bunch of knives started, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to finish this knife 2 or 3 months later when I started or something. Well, actually, someone probably a year later.
So
I'll go
basically,
back and
you go into the shop when you have the time, and you're like, "What do I feel like working on today? Okay, I'll work on this knife, or I'll work on this knife." It's not like you don't have like a set schedule or anything like that.
no, it's a hobby. I keep it a hobby
Yep.
because when I first started, and I first started getting traction as like a maker, I'd get these people ordering knives. And they'd order and order and order, and they'd all want the same knife. And that at the point when I first started, it was this little cleaver that I made, and everybody wanted that cleaver. So I was making that cleaver and making that cleaver and making that cleaver. And then I had a books, and then I had like 20 people in those books, and I went through and I did that, and I was just constantly just doing whatever other people wanted. So it wouldn't allow me to grow. I mean, obviously I could grow a little bit because I'd get better at the craft, but use my
Try new
artistic
things.
I couldn't use my artistic ability to try to advance my designs because they just wanted this certain thing.
Yeah.
After that, I closed the books like that where I just did orders that people put in, and I just started doing what I want to, and I made a list. And if you went on the list, I'd slowly go down that list when I wanted to.
Oh,
And
okay.
now, so now that list is probably like 75 people long.
And you're just gonna go through it as you have the time.
Yeah, as yeah, pretty
Do you
much I
have
just do what I want to.
do you have the ambush folder for us to see, or do you have one?
I do not. I had 6 of them for Blade Show, and they all sold. But if you go to my group, there's pictures of them there.
Yeah, I'll have the link. I'll have the link to your group as well as your website. Is your website still up?
No, I still have the page, but I didn't like the format, and I was using Wix or something, and I just never really got it designed how I wanted to. So I just kind of canceled that account.
All right.
So
So, well, I'll have links to your Facebook group. So the ambush folder, is that a more of a it's all produced by you in house?
I do have some on Waterjet, but yeah, it's all in house, and it basically looks just like this, just smaller,
Yep.
and like it's almost identical design wise. I mean, the flipper's a little bit different,
Yep.
but it's pretty identical. Like,
I love that little sweep right there. That kind of like Bowie sweep up at the top.
yeah, yeah, the it's a pretty popular design for me.
What's
Uh,
what is this one called again?
that is a SOF, and that design's kind of evolved now too. But it's SOF, Soldier Fortune, SOF.
Yeah, nice. I mean I love it. I think it's a great knife.
Seems like a lot of people don't like dagger style knives. I personally like a dagger grind,
I mean,
but that's just more
it's set up to
spear
do
point
work.
grind. I guess whatever you want to call it, dagger or spear point. I like spear points and daggers a lot.
No, I like it. I like it. I definitely like it. Um, what's your favorite materials to work with?
Uh, micarta for handles.
Yeah. What about steel?
Still, they're all the same in my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody says knives are harder to grind this one, and steel's harder to grind this one. I haven't noticed anything with that.
What's your personal preference in terms of knife steel?
1095 for high carbon steel. I
Yeah.
like it's
Is
easy.
there a reason why you like that?
It's easy to heat treat. It's a good steel. I mean, the real downfall of that is it rusts. That's the
Yeah.
main downfall I see with that. But as far as performance wise, it's great performance.
Do you
And
what
it's budget, it's a good price. So basically everything about it's good except for the rust factor, in my opinion.
what kind of coatings do you do on your knives?
Uh, I don't do any coatings except for like acid wash.
So this is like stone washed acid wash.
Yeah, it's just dipped in. That was probably dipped in ferric chloride and then stone washed.
Nice. But you don't do
But yeah,
Cerakote or anything like that.
uh, um, I haven't got any done. I have had a guy buy my knife and Cerakoted one of them and stuff, but I haven't really did it. If somebody asked for it, a custom order, I'd do
Yeah.
it. But I don't really, I don't do
So
it like for
so
my
where's
preference.
where's driver defense going? Like what do you see in the future?
Retirement plan.
Is that ultimately why you started making knives, kind of as a retirement plan?
I started making knives as a get a hobby. I mean, then I just started liking it and kept on growing and growing and growing. So like I don't really make no money off knives. All the money I make off knives I put back into it
Yep.
for the most part. So I
Nice.
have like I have enough material out there to probably make 500 knives without buying anything right now.
Well, that's good because
Well,
because steel prices have gone up.
I mean, I have to buy probably some handle materials, but as far as steel goes, I've got enough. I've probably got 200 blanks cut out, the water jet.
And
And
is it just you in the shop, or do you have someone else that's worked with you? Have you ever had anybody in there?
that's just me. I've had like a couple like high school, college kids come by to try to like do like cut out profiles and stuff like that,
Yeah.
do like basic stuff, but it didn't work out too well.
Ah,
Not that I had anything against it, just I try to get them to cut it out how I want it to, and they don't cut it out how I want it to. It was mainly
yeah.
just so they could get like a little experience,
Yeah.
a little
No,
bit of
no.
money and stuff.
I,
And so
I
now I just
can
get a water jet.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, just you want it a very specific way, and it's probably hard to duplicate yourself in terms of the execution. So,
Yeah.
well, hey man, I appreciate getting on with me today. What
You
is there anything that you kind of like a last thought? Anything you want to leave us with in terms of driver defense?
no, you want to see some knives? I have like some sample knives
Yeah,
I'm working
yeah,
on.
yeah. What do you got?
I just started working like more getting into more kitchen knives. So here's a kitchen knife I'm working on.
Is that the one that you sent to Spencer?
No, he bought that one.
Oh, okay, okay. But he gave you kind of some feedback on from a chef kind of perspective.
Well, I mean, he did give me feedback, but none of it was negative, so that kind of didn't really help me out.
You're like, come
Um,
on, bro. You're like, give it to me real good. What kind of steel is that? Is that AEBL?
yeah, this one is AEBL. I got a laser, so now I put my steel on there. So if you get a knife from me, you'll know what it is.
Oh, nice.
Because I have people message me because I send cards, but they're like, "Do you remember what kind of steel this is?"
I
And
have the card for this. I just don't have it in front of me.
no, pretty sure that's 80 CRB2.
Okay.
I can't remember for sure, but I believe it is.
What other knives do you got?
So here's you saw that one, the ambush that
Yeah,
I've been working.
I love it, man.
Then these two I'm working on right now, some folders.
And which models are those? Are those just do you know
So
how to
this is
name or?
I name all my knives. Well, several some of my kitchen knives. This is a Cataclysm S, so it's a small version of my Cataclysm.
Nice. What kind of do you have ceramic bearings in there or stainless steel bearings or?
So these are ceramic bearings. They're from Skiff. I've started using ceramics bearings from Skiff. They're like kind of a star pattern, so it's a double row bearing.
Okay.
This is my Spike, the extra large version of my Spike model.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
So then I have a mid-tech model that I haven't got any done right now, but this is the mid-tech pieces I get. This is my Anubis model.
Say what's the name again?
Anubis,
Anubis.
yes.
And what do those run?
These are 475. The blades are CPM 20V. They have a lock bar insert.
Okay.
They run on stainless steel bearings.
It's awesome.
Have a lock bar insert and lock bar stop built into the lock bar insert.
Oh, nice. And those are 100% ground and fitted all by you.
So I get them to this point, it's all done by company,
Okay.
and then I'll finish them out from there. So I grind the blades, sharpen them, do the finish work.
I'm making your knives fall apart now.
Yeah, it's just kind of sitting there. It's not really together. I don't even have a pivot in there.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what you have anything else?
That looks like all the knives I have on me.
No, that's okay. You don't have to. Your knife
Oh,
basically you're looking around. Oh, we have another knife within eye distance.
So this is one of my original designs I did. Like it's probably the second design I did. I started this one probably like 2 years ago. I just haven't never finished them. This is my Bane model.
Bane.
Yeah.
I like the belly on it. Your stuff's looking good, man. I love it. That's on my list to buy. Definitely one of the folders. What are you going to any other shows coming up?
So there's the New York City Knife Show.
Yep.
The New York Custom Knife Show has moved to Nashville this year.
Okay.
I guess because of COVID. And I messaged them to try to get a table, and that's in November the 19th and 20th, I believe it is.
Yep.
So if they have openings, I'm going to get a table there.
How many knives do you think you'll have there?
If I go there, I'll probably try to take like 10.
Okay. Folders and fixed blades?
I'll probably take mainly folders and then a couple of hidden tank fixed blades, probably the higher end versions of these.
Is the one that what's the so JT McCoy is one of your customers, a guy that's very vocal in terms of using his ambush. Did I see that his is leather stacked?
So yeah, his is the prototype. This is the first one that I did. So it's the prototype. It's a carbon fiber on top,
Yeah.
then leather stack, and then a carbon fiber on the bottom.
Is it like how's that all held together? The one that and I'll put a picture in here of JT's.
So it's kind of a different than my normal designs. So up to the leather, it's full tang, so it's got a bolster there.
Okay.
So basically just like this one to here,
Yep.
and then it's got stacked leather.
Yep.
It's like a rat tail, like a hidden tang from the
Oh,
bolster
okay.
down.
Oh, okay.
And then at the bottom, it's got the so it's carbon fiber, then it's G10, then it's carbon fiber again, and it's pinned together at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a different design. It's not really something I do very often. It's just I did on two knives, and it turns out all right. It's just
How are they?
not.
I mean, he seems to be like really using his. So how they obviously been holding up well.
Yeah, I mean, most of the ones I do now, if I do a hidden tang, it's a threaded tang. It's from the blade down is stacked
Yep.
micarta and carbon fiber, and
Okay.
it's a threaded pommel. So I put a threaded thing and thread it on to make a pommel on that.
Why did you switch from being it pinned at the bottom to a threaded tang?
I just
Just
I'm just trying new things.
just trying to think. Okay. Okay. What
I like
so real quick, what so JT McCoy brings up a good question in terms of like warranties. Like what's your warranty for knives in general?
so I got a lifetime warranty against normal use. If you do stupid shit, I'm not going to warranty it. If you're taking pry tile up or something and break the tip off, I'm not going to fix that. I might fix it for you. Like I might take and turn it into a worn cliff or something or regrind it for you, but it's not going to be free. And I'm not going to make another blade.
So it's normal wear and tear kind of stuff. Like if it's workmanship stuff, but if they just a jack bag and they don't use it correctly, then you're not going to just replace it for free. Oh,
No.
okay, gotcha.
And no way I should do that.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you getting on with me today. I'm gonna have the links to your Facebook group down below and how to contact you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother. Oh, did we lose him? Oh, yep, you there? Oh, technology. All right, well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day. Oh, you there?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Good. We're back. All right. Well, hey man, I appreciate you joining me today, and even through all the technology stuff and the previous one. I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So I'll have some pictures of of the knives that I have. Not that I have, but that you've sent me before. If you want any other pictures, let me know, and then I'll make sure that there's a link to your Facebook group below. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, man. Have a great day, brother.
You too.